Hello, this is Dr. Sturm, and this is our introductory for U1D3, the Sun, for September 24th and 27th. So the very first thing you'll do is go into Schoology and locate your warm-up for today. So let's go into Geosystems right here. It'll be in Unit 1 Solar System in our U1D3 Sunspot Lab, September 24th and 27th. You can do a U1D3 warm-up. Complete that. Once you complete that warm-up, we'll move on, and you can access the slides also in Schoology right here. These U1D3 slides, which are exactly what I am talking through right now. So if you go in and do that on slide number 3, there's a video you can watch introducing the sun. Here is our layers of the sun. And of course we have in the center is the core. That's the hottest part of the sun where fusion takes place. Above that is the radiative zone, where heat radiates out from the core. Above that is the what you see in red here, the convection zone or convective zone, where heat is transferred by convection. The outer layers of the sun, those are the visible layers that we see. There's 3 that we're going to actually concentrate on. The photosphere right here in orange, and that is the layer where sunspots occur. Above that is the chromosphere. So that's the reddish color that you would see on the surface of the sun. And above that is really the atmosphere of the sun, those wispy sort of layers of plasma called the corona. And of course, you can see up here the Earth in size comparison with the sun, tiny, tiny, tiny. And just to cover some vocabulary, in case you were wondering, what is radiation? So radiation is heat energy being transferred radiatively away, just like a hot burner or a fire would radiate heat away. So that's like that radiative zone in here. That is how heat transfer is happening from the core outward. And then the layer above that is convection. And so that happens just like in a boiling pot of water, where cooler, denser material sinks down, heats up, becomes active, and rises up, less dense. And then you get these circular convection cells. That's a way of heat transfer as well. And we see that in the convection zone here, which is the core, the core in the middle, the radiative zone, and then the convective zone above that. And here in these slides, which you can also access in Schoology, I talk about those 6 layers of the sun that we're going to learn. And if you look in your assignment for U1 Day 3, the Sunspot Lab, you will see that these definitions need to be entered into the first section of that assignment. So the core, of course, is the center of those sun's layers, the hottest layer where nuclear fusion reactions occur that power the sun. The second layer up from the core is where energy is carried outward through this layer, carried by photons as thermal heat radiation. The third layer up, the convective zone, it is above the radiative zone where convection begins. The temperatures are low enough that radiation isn't the dominant form of heat transfer, but rather convection cells are. And then the first layer of the visible sun is the photosphere. It is the deepest layer of the sun that we can actually observe, and sunspots are found in this layer. Above the photosphere is the chromosphere, chromo of course meaning color. The chromosphere is above that photosphere. It is the visible surface of the sun, and it is the red layer. The corona is above the chromosphere, the outer atmosphere of the sun. It extends many, many thousands of miles above the visible surface of the sun. It gradually transforms into a solar wind that flows outward throughout the entire solar system. The corona is extremely hot, very tenuous plasma, which is really what the state that the sun is in. It's a plasma. It's not a gas or a solid or a liquid. It is a plasma, 4th type of matter. All right, and here is a wonderful video that you can also access in our slides once you get to the end of your assignment, and you can see examples of coronal mass ejections and solar flares. All right, and when you're finished with your assignment today, it will look like this. Everyone's working on that on their own. Come into Schoology, into the Unit 1 Solar System folder, of course, the U1D3. And here you can open up this lab and start working. And of course, here you can see, here's a nice picture that we saw in the slides that's pasted right into your assignment. All those definitions you need to add in for the inner layers of the sun as well as the outer layers of the sun. Go ahead, if you're out of Schoology, you can click on this, put it into drawing mode, and you can just drag these names over to the appropriate place in the drawing and close it back and answer some questions here. In terms of the Sunspot Lab, you're going to use these pictures right here, pictures of sunspots, and you're going to measure from the edge of the sun over. So maybe this is a good one to pick because you can see it both in the day 0 day, this one right here, and on day 5 that has moved over to here, this location. So that's a good one to pick where you can get it, that sunspot over 5 days. And just use a ruler is fine. You can even change this over to fit and get a little bit better measurements. You will answer all these questions, measure the total width, be precise down to the nearest tenth of a centimeter or millimeter. A tenth of a centimeter is a millimeter. And then do the calculations here and see what you come up with. So you will end up figuring out the calculated rotation period of the sun around its own axis. Go ahead and Google the accepted rotation period of the sun, figure that out, and figure out how close your estimate was using our measurement techniques. Part 3 of this assignment is questions about what are sunspots, and you can Google all this information, and Google will help you write out. Wikipedia has some nice stuff, and there's some other great websites I'm sure you're going to find. And that is the video. This is the same video that's in your class slides. You can click on this video and learn about flares and coronal mass ejections. Once you're done, you can go into Schoology and take the Unit 1 quiz. And I'm going to back right out here and show you where that is. Sunspots. Oh, and this quiz actually, because you can retake it as many times as you want, the quiz is actually at the top of the Unit 1 Solar System folder, U1D3 quiz, Earth and Solar System. And you can take that as many times as you like until the night before the test. All right, thank you.